So, Cassie, it seems like if you talk to security teams today, one of the most common frustrations you hear is that discovery sounds simple in theory, but breaks down in practice. A big reason for that seems to be coverage. So, where do most DSPM tools fall short?
The biggest issue is that most tools simply don't look broadly enough. However, our coverage extends across endpoints, cloud, and on-prem environments. Traditional DSPM tools focus heavily on and center around public cloud platforms. They will scan AWS S3 buckets, Azure Blob Storage, and Google Cloud Platform even, and they will call that comprehensive. But most sensitive data doesn't start in the cloud, it starts on the employee devices. Documents are created on laptops. Spreadsheets are created on desktops. Source code is written on developer IDE workstations. That's where the data originates. If you're only scanning cloud repositories, you're blind to the source of much of your data. We provide visibility across cloud data stores, on-prem databases, and file shares and endpoints all in one platform.
And so that gap that they have, that becomes more obvious once data starts moving, right?
Exactly. A sensitive document might be created on a laptop, uploaded to OneDrive, exported to S3, and shared through Slack. If you only scan part of that journey, you don't really understand where you have your data risk points. Our coverage also includes SaaS tools many DSPM ignore, such as Outlook, GitHub, Gmail, Slack, Teams, and many more. Not just file storage, but the messages and the conversations where data actually moves between people.
And it seems like another place that tools struggle with is how and when to scan.
Right. We give customers flexible scanning options that adapt to how their organization actually works. Traditional DSPMs tend to run on rigid schedules. They might scan annually or quarterly, which means they're always looking backward. But the risks are created every day. Our scanning architecture supports both forward scanning and historical scanning. Forward scan lets us identify new or modified data immediately as it happens. Historical scan lets team go back and audit existing content based on evolving risk and compliance needs. Configuration is contextual to each app. OneDrive is configured by users, Slack by channels, SharePoint by sites. That prevents blind spots caused by structural mismatches. You can also apply granular controls like file size limits, file types, and path level inclusion and exclusions. The goal is not to scan everything blindly, but to scan what matters the most to the customer while reducing noise.
And that leads to another blind spot, which is redundant data.
Raw data, redundant, obsolete, and trivial data is something most DSPM miss entirely. They may scan multiple cloud repositories, but don't realize they are looking at the same file again and again. You think you're seeing 500 sensitive files, but when it's really 50 files copied 10 times, we identify exact copies across environments. Instead of fragmented snapshots, customers get a true inventory of unique data and where duplicates exist. Traditional tools say you have X sensitive files. We say you have X unique files with Y redundant copies across Z locations.